Okay, I've got the Arrows Pioneer out here today, and my stock prop was getting pretty chewed up on it because I have got a lot of flights on this little plane. And I don't know if you watched the high wind terror fun flight of this, last flight I posted on it, but I couldn't get the gyro to function on it at all. It just wouldn't initialize. Well, lo and behold, after I got home, tested it again once I got home, the gyro actually initialized, and it initialized for this flight. So I replaced that stock prop with a Gemfan 5040 prop. And those props are just as cheap as beans, you know, less than $1 a piece, I'm sure is what I paid for them, because I usually buy them in a 10-pack when I buy them. So the only thing I had to do was I had to file down the lip on the spinner, on each side of the spinner, just a little bit with a steel file. I used a plastic 4mm to 5mm sleeve, and that 5040 prop went on there like a glove. So the stock prop is a 5-inch prop, but it's only a 2.75-inch pitch, and it's a bullnose prop. Bullnose props, with all my motor and prop testing, they produce a little bit more thrust than a non-bullnose prop, but they also pull more amps to do that. I think with this standard 5040 prop, since it's got more pitch in it, 1.25 inches more pitch in it, but it's a non-bullnose prop, I think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to pull any more amps than the stock prop, but I think it is going to produce a little more thrust than the stock prop does. So we'll see what kind of performance this gives it. I have very little wind out here today compared to the last trip out where I had 15 to 20 with very gusty, unpredictable winds. So the flying will be a lot easier today, that's for sure. Alright, let's see where my wind is coming from. Well, that's very different. The wind is coming from the opposite direction of the sun, and that rarely happens here. Alright, let's get it in the air and see what we got. Alright, I should have it in full manual mode now. I had it in stabilization mode just to launch it. Alright, so let's bring it back through here and pull a loop with it and see what kind of thrust we're going to get out of this prop. Oh, not bad at all. Let's try that again. Over here where we can see it a little bit better. Oh, I think you're going to be able to pull some better loops with it, with this prop. Oh yeah, that's definitely, I would say that is definitely producing some better thrust than that stock prop. Sweet. Wow, that is a really fast roll rate, huh? I may have to tone my bill rate down on it a little bit. Especially if it's going to be pulling through the air a little bit faster now than it was. Wow, those are nice rolls, and that was only about 60% throttle there when I pulled that roll. Alright, so let's see if we can do a vertical with a stall turn, eh? Oh yeah, I would say that that has a better pull, guys. A better pull, and I don't know what they charge for the stock prop, you know, replacement prop, but I'm sure it's more than well over $1 for it. And I don't know, usually when I buy these little ABS props, these 5030 and 5040 Gemfan or Diatone or JJRC props, I usually get them for somewhere around 60 cents a piece, maybe even less than that, depending on how many you buy. But I think that is going to work out just peachy. I got it set up for a 5-minute flight. I got my timer set up for 5 minutes, so after we land, we'll see how much juice we've got left in the battery compared to what we normally have. I'll fly it much the same way. Split S. No problem. And I've got the stock battery in it. It's the 2S 350 milliamp hour. I think that's a 30C LiPo. I haven't tested the amp draw on this prop. I just didn't have time before I needed to get it out here this morning before the wind picked up. But I'll put a fresh battery pack in it when I get back and see how many amps it's drawing at full throttle, and I'll go back and look at my notes and see what kind of amps it was drawing with the stock prop. But pretty sweet, huh? I think I'm going to be really happy with that. Trying to remember what that motor is. I think it's a 1606 or a 1608. I think it's a 2000 kV motor, so it should have plenty of torque to spin that 5x4 prop. Yeah, I don't remember it pulling that well vertical. And I'm probably halfway through my flight already. I'll have to try it with a little higher C LiPo to, well, actually I'm almost at the end of my flight pack. I just got my haptic on my transmitter. So, yeah. It still seems to have plenty of power. Close to the end of my 5-minute flight, and I certainly haven't been easy on it, have I? Alright, there we go, that's 5 minutes. So let's put it back in stabilization mode. I'm going to bring it in, see if we can land it over here on this little dirt lane. Sweet, that was sweet. Okay, so let's bring it over here and test the battery and see how much juice we've got left in it. Well, I tested the battery voltage right before I put it in the plane for the flight, and it was just under 8.4 volts. It was like 8.38, I think, was the voltage on it. So it was just under 8.4. I'm glad my gyro is working today. I don't know what was going on last time I had it out, but 15 to 20 mile an hour gusty winds is not the time you want your gyro to not work. Alright, let me see if I can hold this up here where you can see it. Oh, we got plenty of juice, guys. 7.635 for the pack. 3.8. 3.8. I don't know. I would, if I just had to guess, that was a 5-minute flight and I pushed it pretty hard. By the time I got it on the ground, let's see, how many seconds did I go over? It looks like 5 minutes and 27 seconds that I had it in the air. 5 minutes and 27 seconds, and I still had over 3.8 volts per cell. The pack was just under 8.4 volts when I put it in there. Man, I'd say, well, that's only half the pack. So I'd say you're going to get close to a 10-minute flight flying it the way I was flying it, leaving 3.6 volts per cell. I'm at 8-minute flight. I would say you're going to easily get an 8-minute flight out of it. So looking at that, it looked to me like it had better vertical pull with this prop than it had with the stock prop. I'm using the stock battery so that I could get a good comparison between the two. And it looks to me like it is just every bit as efficient, maybe even a little bit more efficient than the stock prop was. So there you go. Don't buy one of those expensive stock props. Put a Gemfan or a Diatone or a JJRC 5040 prop that has either if it has a 4mm hub, you're good to go. If it has a 5mm hub, diameter hub, then you're going to need a 4mm to 5mm sleeve. I measured the shaft on it, and the shaft is about 3.75 millimeters. So So that's all you need. File down the tooth on each side of that spinner, and you're done. And it fits nice and snug now over top of that 50/40 prop. No worries whatsoever. So for future props, I am definitely good to go. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the air.